The good news is we hit the 50-point mark with 10 games to spare. The bad news is the players seem to think that's job done. Hello and welcome to part 118 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 championship games for you. We are safe now, by the way. We have 2 championship games for you. We're at home against Villa, away against Fulham. We are safe. We are down in 12th place, so 8 points outside the playoffs now with 10 games to go. We always knew it was going to be a tall order to push for the playoffs this season, but our recent form has been despicable. Look at the state of this. 1 win in, 10, 12 games? And we're currently on a run of 5 games without a win. It's not looking good form-wise at the moment. And there are worries starting to go around my head that this is quite a similar shape to what our season took the last time we were in the Championship for the first time. If we go all the way back, you'll see that our season that year ended completely miserably. And then we went on to start the following season miserably and get relegated. And I hope we're not taking a similar shape again, where we've got promoted, we're all buoyant and happy. We take that morale and happiness and buoyancy and have a really, really good start to the season and then get tactically found out and it all goes wrong. I hope we're not now repeating it all again. We need a good summer of transfers. We're going to get our £5 million of TV money stuff that we get in the Championship this summer, which should be a difference maker. If it does take the same shape as last time, we'll have £1.5 million to spend in summer. And this time, I'm not going to waste it on Miles Darwin. I'm gonna invest properly. And hopefully we won't have history repeat itself. But let's win a few games now. Let's have a late playoff push. It all turns around from today against our local-ish rivals Aston Villa. And this is the team that we're putting out there. We're going for Griffiths in goal because all of our goalkeepers are rubbish. So why not try the youngster with potential who's our own? So Sam Griffiths. And again, this all might seem quite familiar from the last time we were in the Championship and it all went wrong. Because, of course, Sam Griffiths played the relegation portion of that season and conceded 31 goals in 13 games. But we're going to give him one final chance to show that he's got a future with us. Otherwise, there's goalkeepers coming in the summer as usual. A back four of Ball, Hughes, Taggart and Lang. Talking of Ball, we've dropped the ball a little bit with Ball because he's joining Partick Thistle in the summer. His contract's up. There's quite a few of them whose contracts are up in the summer. I've not been that desperate to renew a whole load of contracts. I want to be able to review things in the summer. So we've got 3 or 4 regular-ish first-teamers. Not like the stars, but the more fringe first-team players. I mean, Ball's only played 17 games this season, so he's not a regular starter. But the more fringe first-team players whose contracts are up, and Ball is one of those who has now decided to exercise his right to talk with other clubs, and he's heading north of the border. So we're going to go back to just having one Ball again next season. But Ball, Hughes, Taggart and Lang in defence, with Lenton, Hayes and Allen in midfield, and then Ball in behind Wheatley and Stainsby. The midfield, this is not the midfield I envisioned at the start of the season. And I think that's part of where our season has gone a little bit wrong. If we have a little look at the midfield players that we've currently got injured, Peter Anderson is our best midfield player, valued at over £3 million. He's going to be a superstar for us, but broke his leg. He's done for the season. We don't need to look at him again. Can't get my buttons right. Alex Barber is currently suspended. We had a ridiculous thing in our last game, actually, with Barber and Barron. I've never seen this before in the history of playing Football Manager. Against Southampton, we were doing fine until the 87th minute. We were actually in the lead. Everything was looking good. But then in the 92nd minute, we gave away a penalty and got 2 players sent off at the same time as part of giving away the penalty. But I think Barber got sent off for a second bookable offence for giving the penalty away. And then Barron got a second booking for arguing that Barber had been sent off. So we had both of them sent off. So they're both suspended today, which is watering down our midfield even further. And then we've also got an injury to Alex Denny, I think. He's just recovering from injury. There you go. Alex Denny is on his way back, but not quite ready to start again. So the midfield is massively depleted. And I think once we can get our midfield back to full strength again, Anderson's going to be a massive factor for us next season. But once that midfield is back to full strength, I think we should start playing well again, because that was our major strength when everything was going well at the start of the year. We had Ruggles and Wheatley and Fisher and Stainsby all scoring goals. We had a top quality midfield, and it didn't matter that we were rubbish at the back. Well, now the goals have dried up a little bit going forward. Fisher still hasn't broken the all-time record goal scorer thing. Ruggles is still a frustration because his goals per game ratio looks decent. He scores once every like 1.8 games over the course of his Nuneaton career. But he's very much an Ashley Chambers. Those of you who were around right at the start of Backing the Boro this year, Ashley Chambers would regularly get 25, 30 goals a season, and you would think on that basis that he was a star for us. But in actual fact, unless he was scoring goals, you didn't even notice he was playing. And I think that's the problem we've got with Ruggles. He misses so many chances. He's not really contributing to the play when he's not scoring goals. And you kind of have to look a little bit beyond just how many goals they're scoring. So Ruggles is a frustration, but Stainsby's gone off the boil a little bit. He was obviously playing well above his level earlier in the season, and it shows, and he's now not playing at that level anymore. Dan Fisher, the same. So we're probably struggling a little bit up front. We need Kent Wheatley to come good and show that he's going to be a star for us, because Ruggles as well, he's out of contract with Brighton in the summer. So there's every chance we'll be able to sign him permanently, and if we get the opportunity to, we probably will. He's a 25 goal a season championship striker. We're not going to say no if we can get him permanently, but there's also a very real chance that he'll go to someone who can afford to give him the kind of money Brighton are giving him, in which case this will be the end of Chris Ruggles at the end of this season. So we need Kent Wheatley to step up and become our new superstar loanee striker. He's on loan from Everton until the end of next season at least. We'll try and push that on for another year again over this summer, tie him down for 2 years. But we need him to actually show that he's worth that, and he does have flashes of it, but at the moment isn't scoring consistently. So we're kind of going with Stainsby and Wheatley at the moment. We've got Afsharian and Fisher on the bench. I don't think either of them... in fact, add Stainsby to that group, I don't think any of that three are the long-term answer for us as a partner for Wheatley. So we probably need to look... I'm already starting to put my summer shopping list together. We obviously need a goalkeeper. I think we need 2 fullbacks. I don't think we're too bad at centre-back. If we can find another one like Taggart to go alongside him, we'll be absolutely fine. But I think both Hughes and Sawyer are fine to go alongside Taggart, although not great. Hughes is actually one of the ones who's out of contract in the summer, and I've not renewed yet, so we might move Hughes on. Lang's also out of contract in the summer. We'll probably let him leave. Ibrahim, I think, has got 1 more year on loan. Actually, no, this might be the summer where his Bristol City contract expires and we try and get him back permanently, and we complete the ridiculous story of Ibrahim. Ollie Stainsby now showing that he is a championship quality striker. Because can I point out, Villa are second in the league, and we're actually playing really well against him. So while I'm sat here doing a post-mortem on the season with 10 games to go and talking about how we're going to rebuild our mid-table championship team, the team are out there just casually in the lead against a team that were top of the table 3 games ago, and saying, well, hang on a minute, boss. Playoffs aren't completely out of the question yet. Yes, we're still 8 points away from them, but we do have 9 games left. If we win every game for the rest of the season, I mean, there's a chance we could still go up automatically. It's a very slim one. But if we win, let's say if we win 7 or 8 of these 10 games, which is a massive ask, but if we were to do it, then we'd get into the playoffs, I think. Right, let's have a bit of Fisher time, and we'll also bring on Alex Denny to try and get him back to some kind of fitness. Alex Denny, I wish we had some way to knock 5 years off of him, because I think he would have been an absolute superstar, age 27, 28. He's very, very good the age he is, but I think he's wasted his career at Exeter and Sheffield Wednesday, and look at playing all this championship football. What a waste of a career. But look at the season he's had with us. Look at the goals he's scored, the assists he's got. He's had his best season of his career, age 31, because we're playing him far more attacking than anyone else ever has. We're getting the best performances out of him that he's ever done, but because he's getting on a bit, he does pick up a lot of little niggly injuries. He's not had a big sort of 3-month injury, but every month he'll have 10 days, 2 weeks out injured, and it's not ideal. Right, let's do a Kev triple. We'll get Richardson on as well. Richardson's just signed a new long-term contract with us. Lang's just got him. Oh, it's Hughes, in fact, who's getting sent off. Are we going to get a double red card again? No red card, but we have given away the penalty. But we had Lang and Hughes both on yellow cards hovering around this penalty. Griffiths saves the penalty. Sam Griffiths making himself a hero and showing us that, actually, you know what? I'm your man for the rest of the season, boss. Play me in goal and I'll save penalties against Villa, who are going on their way back to the Premier League. I was saying Richardson signed a new long-term deal on a lot of money as well. We're paying him like 12 grand a week now, paying him like a proper Championship player. But his value's gone up to like 4 or 5 million quid. So in the back of my mind as well, I am thinking here's Richardson through. I am thinking if our financial situation gets really desperate, if someone wants to give us £5 to £10 million for Albert Richardson, James Ball is perfectly adequate in that position. And it would help us financially. I thought we were going to give away another penalty there. We've got 30 seconds to hold on. This result can be massive. We are mugging them officially. Clear-cut chances. We're mugging them. But this will be massive. If we can hold on to a win against Villa, this could reignite our season and allow us to have that proper playoff push as we get into these final few games. Stainsby forces a save out of their keeper to level things up on clear-cut chances. No longer a mugging, but we've beaten them. Goodness me, we just beat Aston Villa. Well, that changes the narrative of this episode a little bit. Let's see if we can push on to the playoffs. And there's an example of exactly what I was saying before. Alex Denny has now twisted his knee and is out for another 6 to 9 games. We need a time machine for that boy. Couple of changes for the Fulham game then as players return from injury. O'Brien, Barber and Ruggles all now fit enough to start, so they come in at the expense of Ball, Hayes and Stainsby, who will drop down to the bench. Let's get into the game. We have kept Sam Griffiths in goal after his match-winning penalty save against Villa, although Lee Hugo is also now fit again, who he was out injured for a little while as well. So we did originally have Wade in goal and then swapped it out for Griffiths. So we've got a few players returning from injury, but obviously Denny not fit to play, because he's constantly injured. He's good when he's in the team, but he's constantly injured. It's madness. We are away from home today, so don't expect another repeat performance of what we did against Villa, because our away form in all 3 of our Championship seasons now has always been awful. So if we manage to survive this one with a draw, that would be marvellous. But we are level on points with Fulham in the league. They're 1 place above us, so a victory here would start to push us up the table a little bit and start... Oh, Ruggles hits the frame of the goal. He was offside anyway, so it doesn't matter. As it stands right now, we're 10 points now outside of the playoff positions, because presumably Burton have already gone ahead in their game. So we do need to, a 10-point gap with 8 games left. As far as I'm concerned, that's all over. So we've got to try and narrow that gap down a little bit. 8 points, I think we can probably dream for a little bit longer, as unlikely as it seems. There's always going to be one team in there who start to slip, but there is a bit of a gap from the top 6 down to the rest of us who are forming this chasing pack. Another good save from Sam Griffiths. Have we finally found the goalkeeper that we've needed all along? But there's that 5-point gap between Hull and Burton, and then we're 5 points back from Hull in the chasing pack. We're kind of bottom of that chasing pack. So I think realistically we do need to win at least 4 or 5 games on the bounce here, just to give us something to play for in those final 3 or 4 games. Otherwise, anything other than a win today, or even in our next couple of games, and it just becomes so unlikely that the only route through would be through the back door. Griffiths did make another good save, but then the rebound falls to an onrushing striker, and it's been coming. It's no more than Fulham deserve. But Griffiths, I'm very much keeping an eye on Griffiths, because there we've got another good save, although it's a shame that he's sort of palmed it straight down in front of him rather than pushing it round the post or even keeping hold of it. It was straight at him. Probably could have held on to it. But I think we're seeing a few promising signs from Sam Griffiths. So I don't know if he's going to be the long-term answer, but certainly of the 3 that we've got at the moment, looking the most promising for maybe a spot on the bench next year with a proper goalkeeper coming in to start matches. But that's the tune I've been humming for the last 10 years. So the chances of us finding that proper goalkeeper are probably fairly slim. So it might be that Sam Griffiths is in goal for us next year. even though he's a 2.5-star player with 3-star potential, which wouldn't get him on the bench in any other position in the team. But there are no goalkeepers unless you've got £26 million to spend, as we saw yesterday. Just, the world has gone insane. Such a dearth of goalkeepers who are good enough to play at this level, and the big teams just hoover them up by signing 2 or 3 of them, and there's just not enough to spare. All the Premier League clubs who've got their £15-20 million goalkeepers sat on the bench, let's just send them out on loan. Let us have a proper goalkeeper on loan. But we can't even do that. Lee Hugo was the best lone goalkeeper we could find, and he ain't any good, is he? We've had him for 2 years now, and he's clearly not going to turn into the answer, I don't think. I'm not going to persist with him for 5 years the way we did with Robbie Nadat. It's just, oh, that's unfortunate. Psst. Well, I think we can officially confirm at this point that any playoff potential push that we had, unless we can turn it around in this game, is just about over. It's going to be an 11-point gap with 8 games to go. I'm not desperately sad about it. Remember, it was never on the cards for this season. Anything over and above 50 points is a massive bonus and something to build on for next year. And even if we can produce some decent mid-table form for the final 8 games, that'll be fine. I just don't want to go into next season off the back of 1 win in 20 games or something, because then we're going to start the season in that kind of form. The job now is to get ourselves into the kind of form we want to start next season into. So if we can then bring in 2, 3, 4 improvements to the team, we can then push that on and maybe have a playoff push next year. But clearly Fulham have just decided to absolutely batter us today, and for the first time all season we've dropped down into the bottom half. Oh, we've done so well to stay in the top half for so long, but we are now going to join our rightful colleagues down in the bottom half. I don't think there's any fear of us being caught for relegation. 53 points. No one's getting relegated on 53 points ever, surely. Even if we lost every game. It's a 14-point gap between us, and that is a lovely goal. Ball across to Wheatley, and maybe it's not all over. Kent Wheatley with a nice finish, but you've got to give a lot of credit to James Ball there for getting in the position and cutting that ball back across. And it's Ruggles playing the through ball, I think. After the criticism I gave Ruggles in the last game when he wasn't playing, that's a lovely pass to Ball, and it's just an efficient goal. And Kent Wheatley grabbing another goal, showing that there's promise there for next season. If we give him the game time next year without Ruggles here, then I think we've got another goal scorer there in the shape of Kent Wheatley. And Ball still showing signs of life, and that's, I mean, Sam Griffiths has done himself no favours there at all. Maybe he's not the answer, because he didn't even move for that, did he? Let's have another look at this. I don't know how much of this you can put down to our defenders being at fault. We're closing down. O'Brien lets a little bit of a gap in behind him, but Griffiths doesn't even know what's going on there. You want to be at least trying to make that save. And after the heroics against Villa, Sam Griffiths just looks like another Nuneaton goalkeeper today. It's all very familiar from the last time he had a run of games in the team. He just concedes a lot of goals, just like the rest of them do. Use your words, Kev. You not got any sentences for us today? Goodness me. Right, Wheatley now. Let's at least make this look a little bit more respectable. Let's have a 7-4 or something. Ruggles is in and hits the post. The man's such a frustration. The amount of times. I wish there was a stat. There might be one somewhere hidden in the game. Let me know down in the comments if there is. But I wish there was a stat to tell us just how many times in the last 4 seasons Ruggles has hit the post. It just seems to happen most games. And Griffiths, again, I think, at fault there. Let's have another look at this. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was his fault. He's not the answer, is he? He is not the answer. Oh, no. Oh, no. What is going on? 6-1 now on 50 minutes. We were so good against Villa, and I know we should have an away tactic. And we have got one. We've been training a 4-1-3-2 for like 2.5 seasons now. But that first part of the season, when we were doing so well, we didn't need one, so I didn't bother. And we played so well against Aston Villa. My first instinct isn't then let's go and defend against Fulham. It's, oh, is the form back? No, the form is not back. Oh. This has been messy, and there's not a lot we can do about it at this point. They're just going to keep coming at us and keep scoring goals, and there's nothing we can really do to prevent that. And again, I can hear you in the comments. I know there are things we could do to prevent that. My argument is, what's the point? We're 6-1 down with half an hour to go. We may as well lose 9-1. I'm not going to fiddle around with the tactic now when there's just no point. If we're just giving away a penalty, of course we have. Griffith's going to save another one to pretend he's a hero again. He actually does. So the one thing Sam Griffiths can do is save penalties, apparently. He just can't save anything from open play. Oh, yikes. Right, let's make some substitutions. Not that it's going to be enough to change the game, but we could get Dan Fisher on and give him the opportunity to get a little bit closer to breaking his record. Ball is injured, and Lenton is not having a good game, so we'll get Levi Hayes on for him. And there we go. 20 more minutes. Hopefully we don't concede any goals. I think that's hoping for a lot. What we do want to see, though, is a Dan Fisher goal. Oh, Griffiths makes another save. Well, perhaps he's not as useless as we all thought. Sam Griffiths has suddenly woken up after conceding 6 goals. Fisher now to Hayes. Through to Fisher again. Go on, Dan. Stick it in the top corner. It's Richardson, and it's cleared. And Tackett's come all the way over to the right-back position because we're pushing so far forward still. And Hayes... We've got room outright with O'Brien, and we're actually not playing too badly now, but obviously that's because Fulham have just eased off a little bit. Fisher forcing a save out of their keeper. Come on, Dan Fisher. I don't know how much longer I can keep you around this first team squad for, because your form in general has been pretty poor for years. We just want you to break the record and then we can retire you. Allen to O'Brien, and it's hovering around in the air. It's Wheatley who tucks it away, though. 6-2. If we can grab a third, 6-3, I think, suddenly becomes respectable, he says, in a world where Fulham have had 25 chances. They get 25 shots, sorry, not chances. 25 shots against us. So this is normally an Nuneaton match works the other way around. We're the ones having 25 shots. We've only had 10, 11, 12. Oh, we're having some shots now. Marvellous, when it doesn't matter anymore. Wheatley going for his hat-trick, but flicks it on, and it's Barber who fires straight at the keeper. And on clear-cut chances, it's only 5-3, which, I mean, that's still pretty poor, but not as bad as 6-2. Well, we've got another year in the Championship next year, which officially, ending on a positive note, was the target for this season, so job done. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.